naughty or nice. The first lesson in conditional love. Every Christmas, a simple story is told again and again, wrapped in lights and nostalgia, and almost no one notices how sharp its edges really are. In Arthur Christmas, the elves carry a small device into children's homes, a meter that decides whether a child is naughty or nice. If the reading lands on naughty, no present. If it lands on nice, love arrives in wrapping paper. At one point, the device reads naughty, and the elf hesitates. He recalculates. He adjusts the score. The needle slides to nice. Everyone exhales. What looks like kindness is actually something else entirely. It is the quiet admission that the standard itself cannot be trusted. Naughty, especially when applied to a child, means disobedient or badly behaved. Notice how the judgment rests entirely on behavior, not motive, not confusion, not fear, only the visible effect. Naughty is never treated as a question. It is treated as a verdict. The same word also means indecent, risque, rude, racy, ribald. In other words, desire that leaked out, impulse that wasn't managed correctly, pleasure that didn't ask permission. So the ego gets two worlds for the price of one. It controls the child with obedience. It controls the adult with shame. And it uses the same word to do it. That is why naughty goings-on carries a smirk and a threat at the same time. It sounds playful, but it points to punishment. How many people want what they've been taught to call naughty, yet live in terror of the consequences attached to it? How many people refuse their own desire, not because it is wrong, but because being exposed feels like death? The public only calls out the ones who got caught being the most naughty. The private mind stays crowded with hidden meters, hidden scores, hidden bargains. Now look at nice, pleasant, agreeable, satisfactory, enjoyable. Already the problem appears. Pleasant to whom? Agreeable by what standard? Satisfactory according to whose rules? What is nice for one person is unbearable for another. What feels kind in one context feels suffocating in another. So the opposite of naughty is not truth. It is compliance. It is manageability. It is the behavior that causes the least disturbance to whoever is watching. The naughty-nice system never asks why something happens. It only asks whether the result can be tolerated. This is how cause is forgotten and effect is punished. This is how confusion becomes sin. This is how fear becomes guilt. And guilt always demands a scorecard. The ego loves this system because it works on everyone. Children learn early that love arrives conditionally. Adults refine the lesson and call it morality. By the time the body grows up, the meter has moved inside. Recalculation becomes self-justification. Bell curves become rationalization. I wasn't that bad. At least I'm nicer than them. I did more good than harm. The fear underneath remains untouched. And that is the hidden cruelty of nice. It turns love into wages. It turns innocence into a performance review. It turns relationships into audits. It turns the mind into a courtroom that never closes. A Course in Miracles puts a blade to the whole structure. Behavior is an effect, not a cause. The cause is always in the mind. So a naughty act is not proof of a sinful self. It is proof of confusion asking for help. The ego hears that and panics. Because if sin is not real, punishment has no job. And if punishment has no job, fear loses its throne. That is why the ego prefers a list. It prefers good people and bad people. It prefers deserving and undeserving. It prefers Santa as a moral accountant. The Christmas story pretends the meter belongs to Santa. In truth, it belongs to the belief in separation. It teaches that love must be earned, that innocence can be lost, that desire is dangerous, that behavior defines worth. The recalculation scene gives away the secret. Even the system knows it cannot justify itself. It has to bend. It has to fudge. It has to pretend mercy while preserving the meter. That is not forgiveness. That is negotiation. That is the ego saying, "Let mercy happen, but don't touch the premise." True mercy does the opposite. It removes the premise. It says the child was never a label. It says the adult was never a score. It says love does not arrive when behavior behaves. It says love is what remains when the meter is dropped. What if the real miracle is not moving the needle from naughty to nice? What if the miracle is realizing the meter never measured truth at all? What if the only thing being judged has been a story pretending it could replace love? Christmas insists on sorting. Love does not. The moment the need to be nice disappears, fear loosens its grip. The moment naughty loses its power, guilt dissolves. What remains is not better behavior. What remains is clarity. And clarity does not need a score.